This is the Parthenon in Athens. For centuries, we have looked to the ancient Greeks as the primary architects of Western philosophy, medicine, and mathematics. These are the classical thinkers we often imagine, men like Plato and Aristotle, whose ideas formed the groundwork of scientific thought. But there is a gap in that history. When the Roman Empire collapsed, Europe lost access to almost all of these foundational texts. The ability to read Greek faded, and the physical scrolls began to disappear. Think of human knowledge as a long-distance relay. While Europe dropped its end of the exchange, the race continued elsewhere. Other cultures caught the baton and carried it eastward. The Dark Ages weren't a total loss of light. While one part of the world went quiet, the flame of Greek knowledge was simply being carried by a different set of runners. This brings us to the Middle East, specifically regions like Syria and Mesopotamia. Here, Syriac-speaking Christian scholars took the lead. This manuscript shows Syriac script, the language they used to preserve Greek thought after it vanished from the West. These scholars were active intellectuals. They analyzed the Greek theories they were translating, often adding their own critiques and observations right into the text. They used Aristotle's logic to solve their own theological debates and applied Greek medical theories to their own clinics. They kept these ancient ideas working in the real world. This movement was the survival mechanism that kept thinkers like Galen and Aristotle relevant for hundreds of years. The baton was passed again during the Islamic Golden Age. This diagram shows the flow: Greek knowledge moving into Syriac and then being translated again into Arabic. In centers like Baghdad, scholars from many different backgrounds worked together. It was a collaborative effort involving Arab, Syriac, and Jewish thinkers. They didn't just hold on to the baton, they improved it. They added their own breakthroughs in algebra, optics, and hospital management. This translation movement was so massive that Arabic became the global language of science, used by researchers from Spain all the way to Central Asia. By the 10th century, the Arabic versions of these Greek classics included centuries of new, proven advancements that the original authors could never have imagined. Eventually, the relay returned to Europe. This is the skyline of Toledo, Spain. European scholars traveled here specifically to translate these enriched Arabic manuscripts back into Latin, finally bringing the lost Greek heritage home. We have the historical records to prove it. This text lists the specific translators active in Toledo during this period. You can see names of intermediaries like Gerard of Cremona and Michael Scott. They were responsible for rendering major Aristotelian works into Latin. The reintroduction of these texts provided European scholars with the intellectual materials that would eventually help support the massive cultural shifts of the Renaissance. These Renaissance frescoes represent the final payoff of that 1,000-year journey. History isn't a straight line from Athens to Rome. It's a winding road that traveled through many cultures and languages. We often talk about Western civilization, but it is actually a shared heritage, a gift passed through many hands to ensure it wasn't lost. Every time we use logic or scientific inquiry today, we are using a torch that was kept lit by a long line of runners.